Astros front office insider Jeremy Booth with us in studio. You can also catch him on KHOU. We did a little TV together on Sunday night.
It was oddly prescient.
Yeah. Well, things haven't changed much because the Astros offense is still Jeremy Booth off to a very slow start.
Pedestrian.
What's going on? Is this just an anomaly? Is this a freakishly slow start, or is there something else at play?
Whose coffee cup is that?
That is Glenn Davis's coffee cup.
Like the former Astros first baseman?
Glenn Davis? Not former Astros first baseman. This is Glenn Davis of Soccer Matters.
Oh.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
It's a radio show.
Can I just move that?
You can move it.
Thanks.
You can move it.
This coffee cup.
Does soccer trigger you?
It's well, a little bit. So look, what's going on is not a lot is what's going on. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of
couldn't tell.
Yeah, a lot of early discomfort. We're mixing and matching positions a little bit. We talked about that. I think that what you're seeing right now from the club is about what you're going to get. You're going to get some 3-1 wins and some 4-0 losses, and you're going to get, an occasional 5-2. You're going to get stuff like that. This isn't a club that's going to go out and score, 7, 8 a night on any given night. It's just not going to happen. And I know that Dana thinks they're going to hit. And I'm not saying it will never happen. People have days like that, right? But when it comes to, the way their offense is geared, it's geared for the ballpark. It's definitely geared to play well there, but the Giants might be a little bit better than people thought. Just a little bit.
4-1 to start the year.
Yeah, a little bit. I think the Mets are a pretty good test. I thought that was a pretty fair test as far as a matchup. Those are average baseball clubs. That's what they are. Neither one's going to go turn around in my mind and blow out a division. Okay, the ones they're playing right now, and the Astros are about where they should be. They're an average baseball club. If you have 85 to 86, 87 wins, you're an average, just above average baseball club. So I don't think Cam Smith is ready. We talked about that a lot, ahead of time. It's nice fanfare. It's rarefied air, as we've said before. I don't think he's ready to be here, not from a personality standpoint, from a production standpoint. So for him, for all the Astros fans out there, he's not a bust. Let's just get that out of the way.
Are people saying that now?
Well, there's a lot of people. So when I was in Seattle, we brought Mike Zunino to the big leagues pretty quick.
I remember Mike Zunino,
okay?
Yeah.
And we brought Z up, and after, I think, less than a year after taking him third overall, maybe a year, and he wasn't ready. He was the right time for us for him to be there. We had a need, but he wasn't ready.
From my time up there, they're still traumatized by that moment by bringing up Zunino too early. And when it came to Jared Kelenic, there are many who believe they brought him up too early. Obviously, he has moved on to other places because they traded him away. And then on top of that, they were nervous about Julio Rodriguez on that front too. So, yeah, there's always the possibility you bring a guy up too early. But I think at the same time, too, I would imagine that as far as the people who are freaking out about Cam Smith right now, saying he's a bust, these are Astros fans who probably need a little Xanax, a little booze.
There's something.
Woski to settle down.
On the Mike Zunino front, I'm gonna tell this story quickly as a parable for that's probably the wrong word, but whatever. For the where we are with Cam Smith now. Okay. We're sitting around the table in Seattle. Draft, maybe right after. And Jack comes down, Zarenzik, who's a GM. And we're talking, and it's myself, and it's Tom McNamara, and it's a few other people that Jack trusted. And we're talking about, Brandon Bance. We need a catcher. Montero's a bust, and, we need a catcher. And Brandon Bance never played in the big leagues, was never going to come back to the big leagues, but we needed a guy. So we went and got Bance, okay? We needed something else, and it wasn't going to be, Bance, the time was up.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you bring Zunino now? And everybody around the table said no, including Jack. We all said no. Why? Because he's only been here a year. Can we go trade for somebody? And you got none left. Can we survive with this? What do you think? No, yes, no, maybe, split. Is it worth it to bring him up now and try to stay competitive because he can catch here? We knew he could catch in the big leagues already. And let him work his way in offensively with the guys we had around him, Seager, Cano, I want to say Brendan Ryan might have still been
Mhm.
there as defensively. You get the point here. We had some guys that could swing a little bit. Michael Saunders might have been there right then. Anyway, do we bring him up and surround him and let him learn here? And nobody felt good about it. But we were still in the middle of something. We thought we were going to be okay, have a chance to win. And we had drafted Z in 12. This is 13.
Mhm.
And so we're building into something next year in 14. Does this at all sound familiar to you? We're
Yeah.
building into something in 14. And so the decision was made to bring him up, let him catch because we knew he could survive. And offensively, it cost him 6 years. It was just not the right time to do it. We had misevaluated as an organization his offensive readiness, something I don't think he ever recovered from personally. Okay. And so with Cam Smith, well, it's not the same guy. The concern is it so fast that he's going to lose himself mentally?
Mhm.
Because as long as he keeps himself mentally, if you don't think you're going to win the division, and somebody over there said they were going to win at least 95 games, I'm going to tell you who. Okay. I say no. Might be wrong. A lot of season left, but I say no. At least 95 games. If you bring him up and you're focused on his ability to adjust and adapt, you got the right guy. If you're focused on him hitting 210, 250, 260 with 20, that's the wrong situation.
You can't look at him as Carlos Correa. You have to look at him as just a young player who's going to be figuring it out this year.
Carlos Correa also had how many years in the minor leagues?
Several. Right.
Okay, this guy's got 30 games.
Yeah.
It's not even a month.
I'm looking at Cam Smith. At the very least, he's got the 2 hits. And you know what's crazy? He's not the biggest problem in the Astros offense, which for whatever reason has Yordan Alvarez at 1 for 16. And Yainer Diaz is also struggling. I know that today, we were talking about this earlier, Jeremy Booth, our Astros front office insider with us right now, ESPN 97.5, 92.5. We were talking about how it's kind of funny that on both broadcasts last night, the TV and radio broadcast, the TV said, Yordan maybe needs to get out in left field to sort of forget what's going on at the plate. And the radio broadcast said something similar or Yordan said this before, he feels more engaged when he's out in the field. He's going to be in left field this afternoon.
He's playing today. I saw that.
Is that going to change things? I mean, what do you see from Yordan that's through 5 games not happening?
When guys like Yordan don't hit, it doesn't necessarily bother me. And I say that because he's such a professional hitter. He's going to hit at some point. Now, it may not feel great right now, but he's going to hit at some point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to him long term, it's like worrying about Altuve. There's no decline there that's going on as far as something to worry about. There's just health and there's time and swing timing and things like that. You're going to look up in the end and Alvarez is going to produce. He's the guy that produces at the end. If playing left field helps him and keeps him healthy, then let him do it. In my view, better learn stay in the DH box. Like don't ever bring a glove to the ballpark. Don't sniff the leather. Don't say the word glove or guante. Don't say anything that you can think of. Don't try to learn other languages with it. Don't sound it out. Don't get hooked on phonics. Just leave it alone and just hit. Now, with that in mind, Altuve is going to have some DH days. The outfield's a very weak spot for them. I think Altuve's DHing today. So the outfield's a weak spot out there. So he's still going to get some run. It's just going to be light. And I'm not sure that he's not going to play a better left field than Altuve overall. And that's tough to say because Altuve looked, that's yikes.
Yeah. I brought this up earlier, and I'm trying to think, Jeremy, in every single situation where there's been a runner about to score, has he screwed up? Because in the spring training, he had the 2 catches where he's trying to move the ball into the throwing hand to catch guys that are tagging from third base, and the ball just bounces off his glove both times. And multiple times he has been trying to field a ball in left field, and he has either messed up while trying to pick it up after it bounces off the wall, or it's just gone past him. So now he's not playing in left field today, and he also played second base earlier in this series, which is something you thought we would see sooner rather than later.
I believe I said that on Sunday night.
You did say that on Sunday night. It didn't happen hours later.
I said, I heard. My sources tell me, they say Altuve's going to play some second base against the Giants. And Monday night, Hosey's playing second base. Now, I don't think they know what they're doing yet. That's okay. It's early. The mix still has to be worked out, right? I mean, McCormick's playing center today too.
Mm-hmm. Zach DeCenzo in right field.
I don't know. And I think they've got to figure it out. I think the fans around here need to And it's interesting because I'm watching X a little bit, and
People are getting mad.
yeah, they're upset, but they're also like, you know why they're really mad? You know why they're really mad? They're mad because all their predictions and projections and the Astros are the second coming this year. They're wrong. They're not. There's a retooling that's going on with younger players who might be something, by the way, that they have to figure out because Jim Crane's not going to go spend $800 million a guy. It's not going to happen. The strong suit of this club is actually going to be their pitching. And I'm not saying they're not going to hit. I just think it's going to be pretty evenly balanced, right? And the best part about the starting rotation this year is that they're going to carry them through the rough moments as long as they stay healthy. Okay. Ronel Blanco, last time a week ago, I think when we were here last, and we talked about Blanco, his spring training. And I said, see what he does in opening first start. It was okay.
Quality start.
It was okay.
We'll take the quality start. I mean, the lack of offense magnifies that a quality start wasn't enough in that game.
That's correct. And so at some point you got to hit, and at some point you got to shut it down. And if one side doesn't play, you lose. And sometimes it rains, as they say in Bull Durham. So when it comes to what the Astros are doing, though, Blanco is a guy. Eric Getty continues to earn a spot. I got to give him a lot of credit. He earns a spot. I wasn't the biggest Eric Getty believer. Never say that I'm, he's been good. He's been
anti-alien discrimination.
He has been good, and you got to give him credit for that. That's an excellent find by the Astros, and they've done a good job with Hunter Brown, converting him to a front of the rotation starter with a guy that had a very flat fastball, right? So you've got some building blocks there. Valdez, if he does what he can be, is he pitching today? It's today, right?
Fromber's pitching today.
If he has another start like he had the first night, okay, that's 4 guys in the rotation you can bank on. And then, the fifth guy is always going to be this. It's always going to be a little bit of a revolving door. And, the bullpen looks like it's going to be all right. And when I was in opening series, my sources have informed me that there might be some guys in AAA that, go into shorter roles to come up and fortify that bullpen, which is exactly what they should be doing. One guy, however, is going to have to get in his head that he's not a starter.
Who's that?
Oh,
Tell the class.
Oh.
I know who it is.
But
tell the class. Oh, I love it when Jeremy Booth does the dramatic, leans back in the chair, looks down, smiles for the camera.
It is it's Dr. McCullers.
Dr. McCullers.
Yeah, and I think he's earned the ability to be called doctor at this point.
Okay.
He's seen enough of them. Okay. So when it comes to Lance, I think that Lance has 5 to 6 more years of future in the big leagues as long as he's in the right role. Think John Smoltz years ago when he reinvented himself as a closer after being hurt the way he has. And not too many people have had an injury history like Lance. Rich Harden, again, comes to mind as just obvious that's who it is. But when you're dealing with the resources in AAA and the guys in the depth of the short burst reliever, I think they got it. I think they're right over there. I think that one they've got correct. Now, again, a lot of time to play, so they might be wrong. But at this moment, I understand why they think the way they do. Offensively, the holes are large based on how you line guys up. And before we started doing this, I started coming on the show as the Astros and Front Office Insider here. I said on KHOU, I did say I wouldn't move Altuve to left field at all. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to move a Hall of Fame second baseman off the dirt to a different position. I don't. I still don't want to do it. I get it, but I don't want to do it. I think if you have to restore a little bit of normalcy, you got to play Dubon and people don't want to hear this. Dubon in right or center field and move everybody else around him, and it's not Altuve.
And I don't think they're going to do that
at all.
I mean, to what you were saying about Cam Smith, I don't know how much outside pressure there is from what should be the decision-making guys, the Joe Espadas and the Dana Browns. I don't know. It does feel, to what you were saying a little bit earlier, hey, you put a guy like Cam Smith in when things aren't exactly as exciting as you want them to be. You moved on from Kyle Tucker. You moved on from Alex Bregman in one offseason. I can understand how maybe from the absolute top floor, there might be some people saying, hey, we want to see Cam Smith out there. But as far as the rest of the lineup and some of the struggles, I am wondering, okay, it's a 5-game sample size. It's 3% of the season. It's a very limited amount, but I am wondering what turns this around. And I will say, and people are being overreactionary because it's the first week of the year. We see this in football too after the first game. There's a lot of people that I've noticed specifically asking questions on the text line or on YouTube or on Twitch that are looking at Joe Espada and are looking at the hitting coach Alex Cintron. Is that fair?
I don't know Joe real well, minimally, just overlapping. I know Alex. I think Alex has a different set of players to work with, and he's still trying to teach a much younger mentally younger group how to play in the big leagues. Cam Smith has no idea how to play up here. Okay, some people would argue that McCormick knows as long as he shows up. I would be in that camp. I think he knows what he's doing here. Brendan Rodgers has come and go. You don't know how much he was helped by Colorado, right, with what he's got there. Pena knows how to play here, but it's still an evolving process with him too. Diaz is in his second real year, right? Second real year. And so there's an adjustment period with him, right? Where are we going to go here? How's he going to play with third year? Because he had Maldonado the first time, kind of split.
He's the primary catcher his second year.
Yeah,
right.
So second year is a primary guy. So he's got to figure out how to really play here when they adjust back to him. And then you've got the kids. And these are kids. These are the Descenzos and the Smiths and the guys. So you've got so many people that you're trying to keep on track and teach how to perform here. And I would argue that Jake Myers doesn't know what he's doing yet either. I'm sorry. I know we're Jake Myers fans here, and he belongs in the big leagues. And it's hard to say that for those of you that are watching or listening, rather. It's hard to say that because big league baseball players are the best on the planet. So it's hard to put him down and say, he doesn't do this, doesn't do that. But we're talking about winning championships. I would argue that Jake Myers is a fifth outfielder every day, all the time, and doesn't belong playing in center field in any real meaningful innings unless it's defensive. Okay. So if you're Alex, you have to work with all of that. This is not the Bregmans who knows what he needs to do to go prepare. This is not Correa who knows what he needs to do to go prepare. This is not Alvarez who you just leave alone, man. What do you need me to do? These aren't just these guys. These are a lot of other guys around that.
They're going to have to figure out a way to turn it around. It is early, and I do want to encourage everyone who is freaking out. I do think, hey, listen, let's wait a little bit. This does seem to be just historically bad to the point of, I think this is freakish statistics for the most part. But yeah, it's been really rough to watch. If we want to end things on a more positive note, Jeremy Booth, our Astros front office insider here on the Paul Gallant Show, most interactive sports talk show in Houston. Is there anything that you would point at through these first 5 games and say, damn, this has been really impressive? Other than Jose Altuve, because we expect this out of Altuve. Uh-oh.
I'm running through the performances on the mound.
Okay.
I'm running through that because I am impressed. Pitching for me is so all over the map. That's why you got 12 of them, right? And then you got another 12 every level in minor leagues because you need them all the time. They break. Position players don't break anywhere near as often, And so when I'm thinking about the pitching, I'm thinking about the evolution of the guys as far as coming back and doing it again, right? You've got you got Arrighetti, he's been impressive. That's a bright spot. You've got Ronel Blanco in starting out correctly after a spring training where we didn't know. We said what he was doing. Just the fact that he did that and didn't repeat his spring training is a positive mental step. And you got Hunter Brown, who again is shaping up to be an ace. That's a heck of a draft pick by the old regime and Chris Gross, who I am not a huge fan of. He still lives here in Houston. Chris, I don't like Chris much, but when it comes to what he did with that pick, did a good job. Did a good job. Doing a good job don't mean I have to like you. Okay, you did a good job. I don't like you at all, but you did a good job. And so, the reality of that is I think the pitching development continues to shine here. I think no matter what they do, that's a pretty bright spot.
He almost hit 100 miles per hour.
Who?
Hunter Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, the velocity, I did not expect that to open the year, especially seeing him challenging both Juan Soto and Pete Alonso with 99.2, I think, to Alonso. Or wait, no, 99. Was it 99.62? Whatever the case. It was to the 2 best pitchers on the Mets, and here's Diesel out there.
It's a lot.
Earning his nickname. Right.
Yeah.
He's throwing a lot.
Yeah.
He is Jeremy Booth. He is our Astros front office insider. He joins us a couple of times a month. And so it seems like you got some good news today. And I don't know what you want to share, what you don't want to share, but what's going on with Future Stars?
Oh, boy. Future Stars series is in a Very, very good place.
Good.
We have some very good news that I want to say so badly on camera, but I just can't yet.
Okay.
What I can tell you is we're getting ready to get started again. We have some professional workouts, and we have our signature events here in Houston this summer. We have a lot of the top prospects across the amateur space that are part of what we're doing. And we're based here in Houston, Texas, man. We'll be at San Jack this summer, and Houston Christian, University of Houston, and Episcopal High School is welcoming us. It's one of the most beautiful high schools in the city into their building before we go into Globe Life, the enemy, Globe Life. At the end of the summer with some of the best players on the planet.
You can get Jeremy Booth on all the socials. And what's the website?
FutureStarSeries.com.
FutureStarSeries.com, everybody. He is Jeremy Booth. He'll be back in here another time in this month. And we hope that it will be after the Astros score runs. Because runs are key. Because you need to score more runs, you see, than the other team to win games.
I had a scout tell me at some point you got to score a run.
You got to score runs.
At some point you got to score a run.
And at some point they have to score runs. Because good God, they have nine runs.
That's
in
it.
5 games. That's really bad.
Yeah.